When we talk about the second generation Lexus NX, many people would think about the NX350 or the 350h. Some of you would consider the NX450h Plus the plug-in hybrid, but many of you would have actually ignored the NX250. Many people say that the reason for the NX250 is just so that Lexus can say that the new NX starts at $40,205, which is a lower price than the 350 and the 350h. Since I have seen many people wanting the NX350h but couldn't wait for the long wait times and have decided to go with the NX250. So in this video, I will compare the two and to see if the NX250 is really an option or not. If you are a second generation NX owner, no matter if you are a NX250, 350, 350h, or even an NX450h Plus owner, and you are interested in providing your feedback on your NX experience, please send me an email at youtube@lsft.com. I'm looking for real owners who would like to provide their NX experience to potential owners on their views on their NX. And unfortunately, I only have the NX 450h Plus, and I really want to provide more information on other trims and models. So if you're interested, please reach out to me, and we can coordinate on how we can actually do something together. Hey, it's LSFT here today, and today I'm here to look at one topic that I've seen many people talk about. The NX250 seems to be a model that is forgotten about, and the focus is more towards the other twins, the 350, 350h, and the 450h Plus. But there is definitely a market for the 250. If not, why would Lexus actually release one, right? So in this video, I'm going to compare it with the 350h and look at the features, pricing, and costs of feeding it. So let's start with pricing. I will be looking at the pricing in Canada and United States and compare it with the similar equipped NX350h to see what is the price difference. So let's come down and look at the NX250. So I'm going to go here and see. Okay, so you can see here, I'm going to look at the NX250 and I will be looking at all-wheel drive. The reason why is the NX350h is an all-wheel drive. For folks who actually do not need an all-wheel drive, great. You can actually get the front-wheel drive and you will see there's a $1,600 difference. But for comparisons and for like, I would use all-wheel drive. So you can see here, the NX250 starts at $41,805 for the all-wheel drive. And the NX350h starts at $43,805. So when you look at it, the comparison of pricing is about 2,000 US dollars difference. And I'll be looking at the specs. So let's compare the styles. And I'm going to remove the ones that we do not want to look at. So we're just going to look at the NX250 all-wheel drive and the 350h all-wheel drive. So looking at the trims here, you can see here that most of the features we have, you can see here the ambient lighting, it's an option for the 250. But for 350h, it could be an option or it could be part of a package. But then you can see there's areas where there are features that will not be available on the 250 at all. So comparing down, just looking at the standard, if I was going to get a 250 with no other packages, what are we going to get and how does that compare to the 350h? So just scrolling down, you can see mostly where we have check marks, we will actually have check marks on the 350h as well. So you can see here, technology, you can see check, check, check. They're all similar. There are things like advanced park, again, not available on the 250 at all, but it's an option for the 350h. So keep on scrolling down. So safety. The good thing of Lexus is safety. It doesn't matter which trim you get, what model you get, it is fully equipped. You can see that it's all checked all the way. The only thing that is not is this intuitive parking assist with automatic braking, which is part of a package. And then we look at performance. You can see here they're actually equivalent because the 350h is a hybrid, which has the EV modes, so that's why there's that discrepancy. But other than that, you can see the base model 250 all-wheel drive and the 350 all-wheel drive is like for like. And when you look at the packages, you can see that the NX250 all-wheel drive costing $3,050, you can get the premium package. And that's the same as the NX350h all-wheel drive. And with that cost of $3,050, you get the heated and ventilated front seats, the Lexus memory system for the driver, steering wheel, and outside mirrors, the black prism interior trim, power tilt and slide moonroof, the power rear door with kick sensors. They have the rain sensing wipers, the power tilt and telescopic steering column, and the intuitive parking assist with automatic braking. So, one thing to think about, if we're comparing like for like, there's no difference in the package costs. So which means they actually break even. So you can actually get the same package and compare them, but at the end it's still $2,000 US dollars difference between the two models. So the premium package is just a write-off, and the conclusion here is just based on the base trim, or even if you wanted to upgrade to the premium, which give you some good options, the difference is $2,000. I would like to introduce our new Instagram account at LSFT Videos. You can see some daily updates on my NX450H Plus, which may not be shown on any future videos, and you can reach out to me directly via direct messaging on Instagram if you have any questions. Alright, so now let's move north to Canada and compare the two models. So right now we're in the 2024 Lexus NX. I'm going to go and build and price it. So here we go to the NX, and we can see here, once it loads, the NX250. So I'm going to actually select Ontario. Okay, and you can see here we have the NX250. So when that's selected, there is actually no other packages other than the standard package, which is the signature package. I'm going to go back to the NX350H, and seems like they're having problems right now, but I'm still able to load it. You can see here we have the signature package as standard as well. So when we look at it, we're going to compare the standard package and see what they offer. First thing is, let's look at the pricing, right? So you can see here it says from $52,932.50, and also the 350 is $55,432.50. So the price differences between these two is $2,500. So at the time of recording, that's about 1830, so US dollars difference. So $1,830 difference. And really, this is not the MSRP. The MSRP for the NX250 is $48,900, and for the NX350H is $51,400. The pricing here does include the fine print here, which is the freight and PDI, the air conditioning charge, the OMVIC fees, and a dealership fee, and the environmental handling fee. So that all adds up, but it's the same amount, like for like comparison. So let's go and let's look at the specifications and the features so that we can see the differences. So you see there's the NX250 and the 350H. So I'm going to quickly scroll down and see is there any difference. So you can see here it says Lexus hybrid drive. Of course, one's a hybrid, one is not a hybrid. So this is definitely not going to be checked. We continue to scroll down, and Lexus Canada, if you're watching my video, your sheets are always confusing because you can see here it says a double wishbone type and all that, but then you can see that it's actually selected differently. I don't know why it's done this way, but It's also a double wishbone rear suspension, but I guess you just wanted to make it different. And you'll see more of these things that will happen. The difference here on the NX350H is this ECB, which is electronically controlled braking system, and this is only used for the hybrid. So you can see that the 250 and 350 does not have that checked. Continue to scroll. So we have an eCVT versus an 8-speed automatic. So there's really no differences there. Same thing with the all-wheel drive system, two different systems. One's a dynamic torque-controlled all-wheel drive system versus an electronic all-wheel drive system. So you can see the difference between those two. So under safety, you will see some differences here. But reality is there is not that big of a difference. So rear cross traffic alert is available on 250 but not on 350H. Well, that's not correct because it has blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic alert. That's checked here. And then you say, how about the blind spot monitoring? Well, it's checked here as well on the 250. So again, odd setup here because these two equals to this. I don't know what the big difference is here. And then when you look at here, front passenger airbag status indicator, it's on the 250, but not on the 350H. I think it's missing a checkbox here. Same thing with the active front headrest with this whiplash protection. It should be checked as well. So Lexus Canada, you need to proofread your standard features here, right? So Lexus safety system, no differences. You can see here the difference here. The NX350 does not have a power rear door as standard. Also, the NX250 doesn't. However, the 350, if you get the premium, ultra premium, or luxury, you actually get a power rear door. Okay? And then you'll say, how about the executive? Well, the executive actually gets the power rear door with kick sensors, right? So that's why executive package is not here. Continue to scroll down, and you can see they're all very similar. So looking at the steering wheel, you can see here it says a leather wrapped steering wheel, but the 350H doesn't have it. But hold on. It has a heated leather wrapped steering wheel, right? But then does the 250 not have a heated steering wheel? No. Heated steering wheel is checked here. So these two don't equal to that. Isn't that odd, right? Well, I do see one difference is that the steering wheel audio controls 250 has it, but then they say the 350H doesn't have it. I don't know. I think that should be another checkbox there as well. So many errors, right? Well, one thing is the power, tilt, and telescopic steering wheel is not available on the 250, which means it's a manual. But you can see here it says tilt, power, like tilt and telescopic is standard, which means you can move it yourself. And again, if you're the only driver, I don't think it really matters much. Then we look at the vanity mirrors. It's available here, but not here. I think another missing checkbox here as well. Now we go down to the seats. The seats, you can see 8-way power adjustable driver's seat. Not available on the 350. I think it's the same problem, right? Because it has an 8-way power driver and passenger seat. That is checked here. But then it has a passenger seat here as well. So again, 2 lines equal to 1 line. This is really odd. New Lux seats, 2 different things. So one thing you'll see that's not available on the 250, even if you had money to pay for it, is the Lexus driver memory system and the ventilated front seats. Not available in Canada. One difference, seat back pockets is available on the 350H, but not on the 250. Very minor problem. All right, so the front side acoustic glass is not available on the 250, but available on the 350H. So any Canadian 250 owners, check if you actually have the double pane glass or not on the 250. I don't know if this is an error because you see a lot of errors here, but based on here, it's not available. Continue to scroll down, sliding sun visors and the mirror. So again, I think previously up there we said they didn't have the illuminated mirror. Well, it has it here now. Very odd setup. And also, the ambient lighting is an option on the 350h, and you cannot have that on the 250. Keep on scrolling. Integrated side lamps is not available here on the 250, and then definitely no EV mode. The 350 doesn't have downhill assist control, but it does have video skid control. I don't know if that is an option or not for the 250. 250 does have a temporary spare tire. The 350h uses an 18-inch run flat tire, so that's one difference. And when you look at here, again, very odd. These two seems to equal that one, so I don't think this is a difference. And power slide tilt moonroof available, but the 250 cannot have a moonroof. This is the temporary spare, and other than that, these are all the options that are available for the 350h. And because Canada 250 only has signature as standard, there is no optional features available in Canada. So there we have it. The NX250 and the 350h is equipped like for like, but you do lose options to add more features like the power liftgate that is not available in the 250 in Canada, whereas in the United States, it's actually an option that you can add with the premium package. Let's move on and look at the specifications of the two engines. Alright, so the NX250 all-wheel drive uses a 2.5-liter inline four-cylinder engine that produces 203 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque at about 5,000 RPMs. The engine is an A25A FKS, which is used in the Camry, Avalon, the Lexus ES250, and the RAV4. The compression ratio is 13:1, which achieves a 40% thermal efficiency. And the NX350H uses a similar 2.5-liter inline four-cylinder, giving 188 horsepower and 179 pound-feet of torque at about 4,300 to 4,500 RPM, with a total system horsepower of 240 net horsepower. And the engine code is A25A FXS, which is a little bit different. The 250 has the FKS, and the 350h uses the FXS. This engine is actually used a lot in a lot of Lexus and Toyota products, and mostly with hybrid vehicles, like the Sienna, the ES300H, the Camry Hybrid, the Crown Hybrid, RAV4 Hybrid, the RX350H, RX450H Plus, the NX450H Plus, and even the new LM350H, which was just recently announced. The compression ratio is 14:1 and achieves a 41% thermal efficiency. So when you compare the two engines, the 350h has 1% more thermal efficiency. And then when you look at the fuel consumption, so I'm going to go back and look at the full spec, and you can see here the fuel consumption. The 250 is rated at 9.4 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 7.4 and 8.4 combined, whereas the NX350 is 5.7 liters per 100 in the city, 6.4 liters per 100 in the highway, and 6 liters combined. And when you compare that to the US, so it's funny that in Canada we also say MPGs here, but when you look at the numbers and you compare that to the American MPGs, it's different. The reason why is gallons in the United States and gallons in UK are actually different. So this number is miles per gallon in the imperial gallon versus the numbers that I'm going to be showing is the US gallon. So the NX250 all-wheel drive is at 25 miles per gallon city, 32 miles per gallon highway, and 28 miles per gallon combined. Whereas the NX350H, it actually produces 41 miles per gallon city, 37 miles per gallon highway, and 39 miles per gallon combined. So when you compare the city driving, 25 miles per gallon versus the 41 miles per gallon, it's actually a big difference. It's 16 miles per gallon difference, or in Canada, it's 3.7 liters per 100 kilometers difference. And when you compare in the highway, it is actually less impactful. The difference is 5 miles per gallon, or just about 1 liter per 100 kilometers. So why did I separate the highway and city figures? I think it really depends on the type of driving you do, because if you drive highway a lot, the differences is not as great. So then we look at the type of fuel. So the NX250 recommends regular fuel, and the NX350H recommends premium, but regular could be used. And I know that there is a lot of discussions about just use regular, come on. Yes, but I'm trying to be neutral here. And I'm going to compare both premium and regular, and compare it with the regular NX250. So I'm just trying to be fair, so don't shoot the messenger here. I will be using regular in the comparison as well. So let's look at the cost of fuel and then see in what situation it makes sense. And then from there, we can make a conclusion. All right, so now we're in the spreadsheet and we're comparing the NX250 all-wheel drive with the NX350H all-wheel drive. So what I did here is I took the average price for fuel in the United States. So this is actually in New York, where we have regular at $3.697 per gallon and premium at $4.48 per gallon. Where we have here is the NX250 with regular gasoline, the NX350 with 350H with regular gasoline, 350H with premium. Okay, and an assumption I'm doing here is we're driving about 10,000 miles per year. And here we're going to look at 15,000 just in case some people who drive more. And there are three comparisons here. One is I drive 10% in the city and 90% on the highway. So I'm an extreme highway driver. Another option is 48% city and 52% highway, which is more likely for everyday commutes. And then on the other way around, I drive 90% city and 10% highway to do the comparisons. Okay? So driving 10,000 kilometers, based on the fuel consumption, I would actually need 40 gallons of fuel, costing $147.88. And then on the highway, I would need 281.25 gallons of gasoline and costing $1,039 of gasoline, which means the total of gas costs would be $1,187.66 for the 10,000 miles driven for the year. So we have kept some numbers constant so that we can get this information. All right. So then when you look at the 48 and 52%, it's about $1,310. And if I'm a heavy city driver, it's about $1,446. And this is for the NX250. Same thing with the NX350H using regular gasoline, so using the $3.39, and it costs $989.44 for extreme highway drivers. And if I'm using just a combination, which is $952.40, and then when you look at extreme city driving, that's $911.46. It's funny that you can see that the pricing is actually very similar when you look at the numbers, because again, 41 and 37 is extremely close. Then we look at the NX350 with premium gasoline. The numbers are very similar of the gallons, and the cost is $1,200 for the heavy highway driver, $1,154 for the normal driver, and the extreme city driver, $1,105. So pricing is not that big of a difference. So now where we have the green, the 250 versus the 350H. So you can see here in 1 year, the cost of the 250 to run in fuel will cost $198.22 more than the 350h using regular gasoline. And when you compare here, the 250 with the 350h premium gasoline, you're actually saving $12.14 for the NX250. And then when you look at the 4 year span, it's about $800 of more fuel for the 250 versus the 350h. And we continue to go down here for the normal driver, it'll be 1,432, and for the heavy city driver, 2,139. So this is roughly for the regular gasoline. So when you look at here, okay, 250 versus 350h, a $2,000 difference in purchasing the vehicle, you actually would break even if you are an extreme heavy city driver. For 4 years, that you break even because you actually save $2,139 or $40. But if you compare it to a normal 48% city, 52% highway, the cost difference of fuel is only $1,400. So essentially, the 350h will still cost you more of ownership in a 4 year span. And especially if you continue to drive this longer, if you're driving for 10 years, you'll definitely see the cost savings. But if you're just leasing the vehicle for 4 years, maybe there's no difference. And then when you compare that to the 4 year span on premium gasoline, even at 4 years, extreme city driving, which is a pro to hybrid systems, is still $1,364 difference. So you're still paying more for the 350h using premium gasoline. Okay, and then we know that not everybody drives only 10,000 miles a year. So we went and looked at 15,000 miles a year. And then looking at it, the numbers do add up a little bit more, but then it's almost like a year and a half for the first scenario that we have. Looking at the 250 and the 350h regular, for a 4 year span, driving 15,000 miles, it's about $1,189. So it's still under the $2,000. And for normal drivers, the 2,150 is very close to the break-even point. So if you do drive 15,000 miles a year, for 4 years, you will break even the premium price of the 350h. And then if you are a city driver, then definitely you've already broken even. You've actually are saving more money in the difference of the price. And then if you look at premium, even if you used premium after 4 years, you're actually breaking even on the difference of the price of the vehicle. So hopefully this actually gives you some good insights. Definitely, I would say a lot of people are not city drivers only. So the 48-52% is a better number to compare with. And if you're looking at that, even at 15,000 miles, and if you're a 48-52% driver, then $932 for $4 on a premium, or the 2,150 is probably where you're going to break even. So around 4 years is where you're going to break even on this. And then you also have to look at premium, regular. That's another argument for another day. But overall, this is where the conclusion is. So let's conclude to see what this all means. So to conclude, the NX250 is actually not a bad option if you're not looking for all the bell and whistles of features in the second generation NX. From a cost of the fuel, you could recover the cost difference between the 250 and the 350h in about 4 years' time. The 350h does offer a faster to 60, a 7.2 seconds compared to the 8.6 seconds, and that's about 1.4 seconds. If you're looking for a decent luxury vehicle and one is available for you to buy off the lot, and you don't have to wait for the 350h for another 6 months, maybe that is an option to get. Especially if you're in the United States and if there is an NX250 premium package, which is very comparable to the 350h Premium. In Canada, the Canadian version, the NX250 seems to be less options and might not be good enough to be called a luxury SUV, especially when there's not even a power liftgate. Well, hopefully this comparison gives you enough information for you to make a decision, and we'll see if we can compare another model next time. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please comment, like, and share this video. If you'd like to see more videos like this, you can subscribe to my channel and press that alert button to get notified when new videos are posted. If you'd like to support the channel, you can definitely provide a super thanks. I'll see you guys again next time in the next video.